We're going to talk today about the real reason that Eric Swalwell was dispatched. And it's not going to be what you think it is. There's a lot more going on here, and we're going to talk about that at length. Okay. All right. We're going to get right into it.
A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.
I'm back. We're going to talk today. Well, actually, I wanted to talk about something else right quick. I had to fire somebody this week, and I felt really bad about it because I'd fired him before, and then I let him come back, and he did even a worse job this time. So I kind of had to let him go. And the person we're talking about was my alter ego. Okay, the person that I am most of the time. I had to tell him. I said, "Hey, get your shit and get out of here because I can't put up with this anymore." I don't know what was going on. This guy, my alter ego, was forgetting things, doing things wrong. I was dropping things. I screwing things up left and right. I said, "Okay, that's it. Got to go. See you later." So you're fired. Get your shit and get out of here. So I did. And that's it. He's not coming back this time. He's not coming back. I can't put up with it. I just can't. I can't. I have to move on from here. I mean, I'm a one-man operation. I really am. I mean, other than my wife bringing me a soda every once in a while, I do everything myself at this point. And that's why I don't do a lot of editing and that kind of thing. So today or this week, earlier in the week, I had to let a guy go. Okay. I mean, he's not going to get unemployment. He can't file for unemployment. It was justified causes. So see you later. Okay. All right. What are we going to talk to? Oh, one thing I did want to go over right quick was, what was it? I had something on my mind. I'll think of it. Anyway, I want to talk about Eric Swalwell. All right. And Eric, I'm going to put him up here on the this guy. He resigned yesterday officially. He's no longer a congressman from California. His governor's race has been suspended. He's probably looking at some serious legal ramifications. Criminal, I doubt. And I'll tell you why. He's reached a level of, I guess you'd call it inhumanity, a level in the civilization where he basically can't be touched. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that when you become a congressman or a senator, and sometimes it's even at a local level, definitely at a state level, but 100% at a federal level, you are beyond reproach. You can't be touched. Can you be forced to resign? Can you piss off the party so bad that they have to get rid of you? And basically that's what's happened here, folks. It really is. The real reason he got fired or he got forced to resign was because he was not serving a purpose any longer. Okay. This guy is a scumbag. He really is. He is a sleaze. I would not buy a used car from this guy. And I certainly wouldn't let him watch my kids for any length of time. I wouldn't even let him come over and, take care of my pet. This guy is a scumbag. He's looking out for one person, and that's himself, which is pretty much the modus operandi for the entire Congress. They're not there. Well, let's go back. I don't want to get ahead of myself. This guy was having sex with a Chinese spy a few years back. I believe her name was Fang Fang. I'm not really sure. Can't really remember, but he was, in fact, they do know that. He's still married. How do you pull that off? How are you able to, what kind of a woman stays with a guy like this? And I'm assuming she did because they said he was still married. So he was having sex with a Chinese spy. Okay. Our number one enemy on the planet Earth. I mean, you can say what you want about Russia. No, not Russia. You can say what you want about Iran. No, they're number two. I will say that. But our biggest enemy is China. Bottom line, it just is. There's no getting around it. I don't want to go off on that rant, but back to Eric. I want to stay on this. I have a hard time doing this sometimes because I get off on other subjects. I have a friend of mine that I talk to, and we may start talking about a subject like this, and we may end off in the weeds somewhere talking about existential, the oxygen levels back during the when dinosaurs were roaming the earth. It's hard telling. We're all over the place. So I have a habit of doing that, and I try to stay away from that habit. So I'm doing my best here. Okay. Eric Swalwell, scumbag, no good. He is a sleazeball. The likes, I don't know, Congress has seen. Yeah, they probably have, but he's in the top 20. There's no doubt about it. He served a purpose at a certain time. He was a great comeback. He was a great Trump attacker. He was an attack dog. That's what he was. That was basically all he is. He's never done anything in Congress other than cash a check and then probably trade stocks, insider trading. I mean, he's probably made his money. He's going to be okay. I don't think his family and him are going to be missing any meals, but his political career is toast. It really is. There's no getting around this. When your party comes after you, especially when someone like Adam Schiff, who is probably in the same category as this guy, he is a scumbag as well, from California. Imagine my surprise. But this Adam Schiff, when Adam Schiff says that you need to resign, you've got some serious problems. Now, what happened? What happened here ultimately? Again, Swalwell, he stopped serving a purpose for the left. That's what he did. And he made the mistake of thinking he could run for the governor's office in California. And I'm assuming he didn't ask anybody. He just announced, would be my guess. He thought he was above everyone else. He thought he could do this and no one would say anything. They would applaud. That's not how it works. He can't win in California. There are too many people. There are over 8, if I'm not mistaken. I think there are 8 Democrats running for office in California. There are 2 Republicans, and Steve Hilton, I think he's a former correspondent from Fox News. He's British. He's from overseas. Lives in California. Seems like a nice guy. He's a conservative. Seems to have some good plans. He's leading the race. And then in number 2 and 3 are tight neck and neck. We've got a Republican and a Democrat. So it's a possibility because of the system that California has. There's a possibility that you could have 2 Republicans running for our office for the governorship in California, which would be hilarious on the one hand. But on the other hand, we're going to get into that in just a second and why I don't think that's a good idea. But let's go back to Swalwell. Swalwell said, I'm going to run for governor. He started garnering 12, 13%. So he was in the top tier group. Okay. But they knew that the Democrats know they can't win with Swalwell. They just can't. There's no way they can. So what did they do? They've known for a long time that this guy's a sleazeball. He has got a history of sexual abuse. He does. And now you've got these women coming out, which I think is hilarious because on the one hand, the Democratic Party and all the liberals and all the progressives, what were they saying for years? Especially when Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice, was being, when they were grilling him. We have to believe everybody, right? We have to believe every woman on planet Earth who says she was abused or there was a sexual, I don't know. I guess a lot of what they're talking about Swalwell is basically he's sending text messages. So is that sexual harassment? I guess it is. It could be construed that way, especially if the woman is not on board with it. But here's the thing. And I got to say this because I said it about Kavanaugh and everybody else that's been attacked, Donald Trump. I have to give him a break on this because why would a woman wait years to come forward? Why would she do that? And I mean, I'm not trying to dismiss what they're saying. And I'm sure it did happen. I mean, I have no doubt that he probably did drug these women. But why not say something? Why not have, and here's where I'm going with this. Why not have a police report stating that very thing? Why not make a police report? Why not report it to someone? I mean, you've got half a dozen women that are coming forward saying that they were attacked by him, that there was some kind of sexual misconduct on his part. I mean, I saw a video, and I could probably show it to you here in a second. Let me see if I can find it, where he's making out with a girl who is not his wife on a bed in a hotel room, it looks like. And there are other people in the room. So, I mean, who does that at his age? I mean, he is a sleazeball, but here's the point. Here's the point I'm getting at. These women should have gone and made a report earlier. They should have told someone, even if it wasn't a law official. Okay. I mean, I think making a police report would be the way to go, because then you have an official record that you say this happened. And then he has to respond. The problem is they wanted to keep their jobs. You tell me it's the same thing with the Harvey Weinstein cases. These women have gone in there knowing full well what was to be expected. Okay. And when it didn't help their career, then they turn on these guys. And what I'm saying is, it's not fair what he did. He put these women in a position where they felt they had to do this. And I have a problem with that. This guy is a sleazeball. But if you think the Democratic Party and the congressmen and the senators, anyone from the liberal end or the conservative end for that matter, you think anyone really gives a damn about these women? Because they don't. They don't. Ultimately, they couldn't care less. This is just another tool in their tool belt when they need to get rid of someone or when they need to attack someone so that they'll resign. That's all this is about. I guarantee you, if Swalwell was, let's say he was polling at, let's say he's polling at twice what he was in California. Say he was polling 25 points. Okay. He's in a group of 8 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And he's polling at 25, and the nearest guy to him is polling at 10%. You think this would have happened? Of course not. Of course not. He would have been their guy. He would have been their man. He would have been running for governor of California. But he couldn't garner that kind of support. So they said, enough is enough. We got to get rid of this guy. And my guess is he told them, I'm not resigning. They probably came to him with this and said, look, you got to get the hell out of here. We can't have this. And he said, no, I'm probably going to do this because people in these positions feel that they're smarter than the average Joe. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that this is a sidebar. I want you to understand something. I've met a couple of these people, talked to them briefly. I've watched them, and this has been over the years. And I'm talking about congressmen. I'm talking about senators. I've never really met a senator, but I've met several congressmen, and I've met people in state legislatures and stuff. Here's a news flash for everybody. We give these guys far too much credit for being smart. I have yet to meet a politician that struck me as intelligent. Sneaky, underhanded, clever, maybe. For instance, you go to buy a car. Let's just say you're walking in. Let's say it's a new car. You're going to a Chevrolet dealer somewhere near you, and you walk in, and a guy comes running out, and he introduces himself. He starts talking about these cars. Does that make him smart? Does that make him intelligent? Does that make him use common sense? No, it doesn't. No. All he is a predator. That's what he's looking for, the next victim. That's all it is. And when you walk out the door, he'll forget your name immediately. They'll tell you they don't, but they do. Doesn't matter if you're buying a timeshare, if you're buying a car, if you're buying a boat, you're buying a house, same thing. These people are here to make the sale. That's it. That's what they're doing. That's what this guy, this Swalwell, he was making the sale and he couldn't make sales anymore. So they went after him. They got rid of him. It's that simple. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like there's no way that absolutely this is how it operates. This is how it works. When you stop serving a purpose, you are thrown to the side. Get out of the way. Unless you're a black woman. Look at Fannie Willis. Look at Letitia James. That's a little different, because if you do that, if you go after those people, then you're considered a racist. Okay. This guy's biggest problem was he's a white male, and they could go after him. If this had been a black woman, there's no way they'd have gotten rid of her. No way. Think about AOC from New York. Ocasio-Cortez. She's a nitwit. Does she serve a purpose? I don't know, but you can't get rid of her because she's a woman and she's a minority. You can't do it. You can't do it. Look at what was her name? The gal from she was the mayor of a small town outside of Chicago. I'm trying to think what her name was. I have to look that up. That's all right. We won't talk about that now. That's a great story, though. She was the mayor of a small little, it's kind of like a township outside of Chicago. And she stole from that township and that county like you cannot believe. I can't think of her name. Anyway, we'll talk about it again later. But she stole from it. Guess what she's doing now? She didn't go to jail for that. They had an FBI probe and everything. She stole money from. She spent money out of the public coffers, out of the public treasury for her own gain. She had a boyfriend who was the police chief. Yeah. Tiffany Henyard. That's what it is. Tiffany Henyard. Look that up. She's let me see if I can find her right quick, because she's a piece of work. Well, Henyard. There we go. Let me get this on the screen here. Sorry about this. I try not to do this, but again, like I said, I'm a one-man operation. So let's see if I can find her Wikipedia. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, let me put that up here. There we go. Stop screen. Okay. Sorry about this. I apologize. It's my fault. I'm not as prepared as I should be, right? Okay. Let's see here. There we go. Tiffany Henyard. There we go. Oops. There we go. Okay. Tiffany Henyard. She was born in 1983. She's an American politician who served as mayor of Dolton, Illinois from 2021 to 2025, and as a supervisor of Thornton Township in Illinois from 2022 to 2025. During her tenure as mayor and supervisor, Henyard was the subject of multiple investigations and legal proceedings concerning the mismanagement of public funds and official misconduct. In 2024, the Illinois Attorney General ordered a charitable organization associated with her to cease soliciting donations. The FBI also conducted inquiries and issued subpoenas related to village operations. As of 2024, Henyard was under civil investigation by the Illinois Department of Human Rights and was named as a defendant in several lawsuits. She ran for re-election as mayor in 2025 and was defeated in a Democratic primary by trustee Jason House. Henyard has relocated to Fulton County, Georgia, where, listen to this, she is now running for the Fulton County Board of Commissioners as a Republican. Okay? Can you believe that? She's running as a Republican now. They have no shame. That's what I'm saying here. Congress, senators, anyone in politics, no shame whatsoever. None. They have no conscience. We're led. This Henyard is unbelievable. She's going to end, but she'll probably end up winning. She'll be the commissioner down in Georgia. And what she'll do is she'll make that a stepping stone to some state, probably some state elected, a position. She may become a senator for Georgia in the U.S. Senate. It wouldn't surprise me. We love these kind of people. Look at the gal from Texas. What was her name? I have such I should have had this written down. I apologize. But anyway, I'm not even going to go into that one. That's Jazzy. What was her name? It doesn't matter. Again, small operation here. It's just me, and I should have had some of this written down. But sometimes I come on here and I've got notes, and I just go. I throw the notes out the window. I start down a different road. So anyway, the bottom line is, and I want everybody to understand this because it's very important. And if you've got anybody in your orbit that believes that people who are in politics have the best interest of you and I at heart, I want you to set them straight. They don't. They have no conscience. There's a reason that people are in politics. They're psychopaths, really. I mean, if you did a psychoanalysis of all of the members of Congress, my guess is the vast majority of them would be probably diagnosed as either sociopaths and or psychopaths. And I'm not an expert on that. I'm not sure you can be both, but nonetheless, you know what I'm saying. These people have no conscience. There's not a single one of them. And I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter what state you're from. It doesn't matter who your congressman is. If you've met him, he's a friend of yours. I don't care. These people are no good. They're politicians. It's almost by default that they're scumbags. And the reason they are is because they do nothing. They've done nothing in their lives. Most of them have had no other job but politics. That's it. And what have they created with that? Nothing. They haven't done anything good. They've never invented anything. They've never discovered anything. They've never done hard work. Most of these guys have never done a hard day's work in their lives. Okay? And I know you're going to say, well, there's some that are good. No. I think if you dig deep, you're going to find the vast majority, maybe 1%. But the thing is, even if you got 1% that's in Congress that is there to do good, I mean, that's his goal. He wants to change the system. They're going to eat him alive. They're going to eat him alive, and he's going to end up going, you know what? Rather than fighting them, why don't I just join them? It'll be easier. It will. Money will do that to you. It does every single time. Al Franken. You remember who I'm talking about? I believe he was a congressman from Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, or Minnesota. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. It doesn't matter. You know who I'm talking about? Al Franken from Saturday Night Live. Okay. Ran for, I believe, Senate and won. And he was a Democrat, so I was not a big fan of his. I agreed with some of the things he said at the time. I think it deep down, I've read a couple of his books. He used to have an ongoing feud with Rush Limbaugh. It was actually kind of funny to watch. They actually played off one another, and it was funny. I mean, I think Al Franken wrote a book. I read it, and it was titled "Rush Limbaugh's a Big Fat Idiot," and then Rush Limbaugh would use him as an example of stupidity on his radio show. It was okay, but Al Franken had some good ideas. He had some positive things he wanted to try and do. He said he's going to go in and try and fix the system. And he showed up, and within a few years, they had gotten rid of him. Remember that scandal? Remember the picture where he acted like he was grabbing the girl's breasts that was asleep? They took him down over that. Haven't heard anything from him, have you? No, he got out of it. He said, that's enough. And I don't blame him. He got into something that he had no idea what he was dealing with. He thought he would be able to go in and change things, and you can't. It needs to be burned down and rebuilt, and we're never going to do that. And part of that would be, I think overall would be if we, found a way to get term limits installed. The problem is the people who are benefiting from there not being term limits are the very people who would vote on that. I mean, Donald Trump's right. I mean, why is it you can only have a president for 8 years, but a congressman can get elected when he's 35 years old and still be running when he's 100? Why is that? It makes no sense. Back in the day, back in the, our founding fathers never did this. Never did this. I mean, they got paid, but it wasn't a huge amount of money. Now, I will say this. The congressmen and senators do not make a huge amount of money for where they're at. I mean, I think they make about $175,000 a year, which to you and me is a lot of money. And I agree with that. I'm not denying that at all. I would take the 175,000. But they look at it this way. That's pennies compared to what I can make here. I can sell my loyalty. I can sell my influence. I can trade stocks. I can do insider trading. Nobody's going to say a word. I'm going to make millions. So why would I care? Now, again, it all boils down to your psychological makeup. And these people are scumbags. Eric Swalwell is a psychopath. He has no connection, and I don't mean this physically, but I mean, he has no connection, I guess, between his brain and his heart. Okay? He has no soul. There's no soul that exists in this man. He's beyond saving. You can't save these people. He doesn't see anything wrong with what he did. He thinks he's entitled to do these kind of things, that he's reached a level in society that separates him from the rest of us. So why would he care what you or I thought? Why would he? What's he got what's in his game plan that he would have? He wants your vote. He'll lie to you every 4 years or every 6 years. Yeah, or no, in his case, it'd be every 2 years because he's got to run for Congress every 2 years. But he would lie to you then. And he's in a district in California that's pretty solid blue. It's pretty solid Democratic. So he didn't have to lie much because people bought into it. It's California. I mean, land of fruits and nuts. You know as well as I do. They've done everything they possibly can to destroy that state. So the bottom line here is, and what I want you to get through your head is you can't trust these people. And I know that I'm probably preaching to the choir, but Eric Swalwell was not taken down because he had he sexually assaulted these women. That's not it. That's not it at all. If he was serving his purpose and he was fulfilling his commitment to the Democratic Party and the left and all the evil, he'd still be in a position of power. He would. But they used that as a tool to take him out. Now, what I want to discuss now is the race in California. The race in California is kind of counterintuitive the way I'm going to look at this. I don't think that the Republicans want anything to do with this. I think they should stay clear of this. That's my personal opinion. This Steve Hilton seems like a nice guy. Okay. He's a businessman. He's made a lot of money. He's all good. Okay. He may be a really good thing for California under any other circumstances, but I don't think this is one of them. Okay. I think, this is my personal opinion, if someone came to me from the Republican Party and said, hey, Gilbert, what do you think we should do in California? I would have said, step away. You, in my opinion, you need to let this state fail. Because if you don't, let's say Steve Hilton gets elected in November. Okay. Let's just say he gets elected. Let me see if I can find him right quick. No, I guess I don't have him up here on my, that's all right. Steve Hilton, if he gets elected in November, what's going to happen? Well, California's still going to fail. It is. I mean, they've got, I don't know if you've been watching the news, but I mean, there are businesses and entire industries moving out of that state. They're saying it's not conducive to making money. You can't do it. It's like New York City right now with Mamdani. Did you see the latest with him? Did you see the latest with Mamdani? They're going to open that city, and I know I'm getting off into the weeds here, but I apologize. But Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, has announced that they're going to open, 5 different city-run grocery stores. Now, this was one of his campaign promises. Five separate, I guess, stores, full. From what I understand, full grocery stores. They're going to open one in each borough, and the first one I think is going to be in Harlem somewhere down. I'm not really sure. It's a pretty. I don't know if I'd use the word affluent, but it's got like 20 different grocery stores in that same area down there. Doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you put a grocery store in a food desert? But no, that's beside the point. The point is, somehow or other, the city of New York, or the state of New York, came up with $70 million to build these stores. Okay. Now, if you talk to, and I saw an interview with a guy who has opened hundreds of these. Okay. He's got a chain of grocery stores. They asked him, said, how much would it cost to open a grocery store in New York City? He said, well, to stock it and build it and man it, he said between $7 and $8 million. Okay. In order to get this thing up and running. Okay. That's fair enough. I mean, if you're going to ask someone about an industry like that, you're probably going to go to somebody that knows a little bit about the industry, right? I mean, you don't talk to a plumber about an electrical problem. You don't talk to somebody that works on jets. He's a jet mechanic. You don't ask him about, maybe I don't know, your lawn landscaping and stuff. You don't do that. So you go to somebody that knows what they're talking about. You go to somebody who's done this before, and you ask him, how much would it cost to open a store in New York City? He says between $7 and $8 million. And that means building it and stocking it. Okay. Well, turns out New York City, Mamdani, who's 34 years old and doesn't know anything about anything. I've got shoes older than him. He's in charge of New York City, the largest and most affluent city in the world. I mean, it's the center of everything, supposedly. That's starting to slip away now. But nonetheless, he's going to build this store. Guess what he's paying for it? Guess what they're going to pay for the first store? They announced it the other day. $30 million. $30 million out of $70 million. You're going to spend $30 million on one store. And I guarantee it's going to fail within a year. It may not even last that long. I'm probably giving it way too much credit. It's not going to work. You cannot run. Do you know how? And you probably don't know this. I mean, I didn't know this until I had a friend who was in the business. Grocery stores operate on a profit margin of 1% to 2%. That's it. The only thing that helps them is volume. They have to get volume in and out. That's what they have to do. They have to have people coming in constantly. 1% to 2%. Now, Mamdani says he's going to sell things because he says that the grocery chains are gouging the customers. Okay. Now, you got to remember, this is New York City. It's New York City. So everything's going to be higher because it's not like you have to have everything trucked in. Okay. Manhattan is an island. You just can't, everything has to be trucked in. So everything is higher. So my guess is grocery stores are operating probably on the same 1% to 2% profit margin in New York City. So he's saying that they're gouging the customer. So I guess in his world, if I'm reading this right, a grocery store and the owners, the corporation that owns it, are supposed to lose money. Is that what they're supposed to do? Because if you're going to do that, you're not going to be around long. You're not going to be around long at all. You're going to be out of business quickly. So what's going to happen here? What's going to happen with this city run? First of all, he's going to put people in these positions that don't know what they're doing. Okay. They're going to be chosen for their gender or their race or their religion or whatever, or a friend of his, whatever. And they're not going to know anything about this. This man knows nothing about running anything. He's never run a business in his life. He comes from a family that's well off. He's never done anything in his life, and he's running a city that he's going to run into the ground. So what would be the natural chain of events for him to hire people to work and to run this grocery store? It's going to be people there who have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Okay. And when you're operating on a 1 to 2% profit margin, you have to know what you're doing. This will not work. It will be a failure from the get-go. Same thing in California. If you talk to, and I don't know if you've seen any of this, but I mean, there's a lot of businesses moving out of California. They really are. Kroger is basically pulling up stakes and moving out. Amazon's talking about moving out of New York City because of some changes in regulations. All they're doing, all these politicians want is more money from me and you. Even if they've got more than they've had in the past 20 years, they still want more. Politicians, and that's why I like Donald Trump so much. And again, I'm not an acolyte of Donald Trump, okay? I want to make sure we're clear on that. I'm not a guy that thinks that he can do no wrong. I think he's wrong on this FISA bill right now. I think that's a huge mistake, allowing that to be re-upped. I think it's a huge mistake. That's what got him in so much trouble, right? Remember the Russiagate thing, the FISA court? It was all a joke. Why would he do that? I don't know. But he's not a politician, okay? He's a businessman. He's become a politician to some degree, but he's not a lifetime career politician. Those are the worst, okay? They really are. Career politicians, and I don't care who we're talking about. You can talk about Strom Thurmond. You can talk about John Kennedy. All of these guys, they're all scumbags. I mean, for instance, and I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. It's not just Republican or Democrat. It's all of them. And most people are listening to this are probably nodding their head going, yeah, he's 100% correct. They're all scumbags. Yeah. Harry Reid, he was in office for 35 years in Nevada. He was a senator from Nevada. Went into politics. I think he was in his 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look it up. Again, it's not important. But he went in young, okay? Hadn't done really much of anything prior to that. Went into politics. He's there for his entire career. Went in poor as a church mouse, okay? He had no money whatsoever. Him and his wife, they're very poor. I think his first campaign was run on a shoestring budget. But nonetheless, went in, came out. I think he's worth $150 million when he left. Now, even at $150,000 a year, if you saved every dime you made from the minute you walked in there till the minute you left, you would not have that kind of money. You wouldn't. So they're doing something illegal. All of them are like that. Show me, I dare you, show me a poor senator or congressman. Show me one who's poor. And if he is, it's probably because he's a gambler. That would be my guess. Or he's married 6 wives and pays a huge amount of child support and alimony. I don't know. I'm telling you, these guys are no good. And the reason Eric Swalwell got kicked out was not because he was bad. Okay. Not by any stretch of the imagination did it have anything to do with morality. I want everybody to be clear on that. It had nothing to do with morality. Congress and these people that are standing up now, wringing their hands and clutching their pearls about these women, couldn't give a damn about these women. They don't care. Why do you think? Now here's an interesting thing. I don't know if you're aware of this. I really wasn't. But most of the time, it's the standard in Congress in Congress. If you work for a politician, you have to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Okay. In other words, you're not allowed to talk about anything that goes on here. So that's how they keep the silence. That's how they do it. And these women, these people in politics, these are young women. They're attractive. Don't get me wrong. The three women I saw that Eric Swalwell supposedly sexually abused were attractive. There's no doubt about it. I'll give him that. He's got good taste. But they were looking for a leg up in their career. Plain and simple. They thought, I can hitch my wagon to this star and maybe I can do pretty good. That's what it was. Does that make it okay that they were sexually assaulted? Absolutely not. No, it doesn't. By any stretch, any metric, it doesn't make it right. But you know as well as I do, and you've met them, people who are willing to do things in order to get to the next level. They do it all the time in Hollywood. It's been going on for years. Even back during the silent film era. They were doing this back then. Women were used. They just were. Men were in charge. That was it. It's the same thing now. So, end of the day, when everything's said and done, Eric Swalwell, what's he going to do next? What would you think he would do? What would be your guess? Because I mean, he's not gonna just take his money and go home and you never hear from him again. This guy's got too big of an ego for that. There's no way he's going away. He's probably gonna disappear for 6-8 months, maybe a year, and he'll come back. I guarantee you, he'll sign on with CNN or MSNBC. Guarantee it. That's what's gonna happen. And what's really funny is he's probably gonna stay married. Because the woman he's with is probably like, well, I know he's a scumbag, but he's my scumbag. Exactly. And that's how the world works. And most people don't understand that. I see all the time, and I've gone through Twitter. I'm on Twitter. By the way, sidebar, Twitter is a shithole. I don't care. It's a septic tank. It really is. I mean, I guess I'm glad that Elon bought it. And I don't know how it's working. I don't know anything about that. But if you go on there, you better be ready for some, how do I put this? Most of the people that post on there are insane. For lack of a better word, I don't know how these people operate on just a regular daily basis. I don't know how they do with the thought process and the things that they say on there. It just amazes me. But you can see people. It's amazing. Let's say Adam Schiff, who is probably, as it stands right now, since Eric has gotten kicked out, I would say Adam Schiff's in the top 5 of the sleaziest, most corrupt, evil people in Congress. I don't think there's anybody. I would actually argue that he's probably one of the worst. Okay. But he knows that there's nothing you or I can do about it. Nothing. He's going to be there forever. He's going to be there. No one's going to go after him. He's above us. Unless he does something wrong and he doesn't serve a purpose anymore. At this point, he does. He's the polar opposite to Donald Trump. And it's just a shame that this guy isn't in jail. Yeah. But Eric Swalwell, guarantee he's going to be on a program of some kind. It'll be a left-leaning one. He'll be interviewed constantly. Now, will civil lawsuits take place? I don't know. Did you know? And I don't want to run too long here, but did you know? And I wasn't aware of this until a couple of years ago. There's actually a slush fund that is built on taxpayer dollars. In other words, they take money out of the treasury, millions and millions and millions of dollars. They put it in a fund, and any sexual harassment or sexually abuse issues that come up in Congress, if say it's a woman working for a senator, she says this guy sexually assaulted me, I'm going to go to the police. They say, no, you're not. Here's $2 million. Sign this NDA and go away. They do that. They have a slush fund to keep everybody quiet. That's how bad this institution is. That they have to have a slush fund to pay off people that they've committed crimes against. That's how bad it is. I wasn't aware of that. You and I, we pay our taxes. They're on our ass about everything, right? Every time you turn around, there's a new tax. Then IRS, we're hiring new people. We're going to come after the, we're going to go after the big guy. That was all bullshit too. They're going to go after the little guy. But nonetheless, the money you pay, the 25 to 40% you pay in taxes out of your income every year, part of that money goes to pay off sexual abuse victims. Need I say any more? Congress could, in fact, be the most evil, diabolical, and horrible institution that's ever existed on planet Earth. In my opinion, it's definitely the worst one that's ever existed in America. Yeah. So, and Eric Swalwell is a perfect example of it. He truly is. It doesn't get any worse than him. It really doesn't. And the way the situation works, he's going to walk away from this. They're not going to be able to lay a glove on him. Guarantee it. Right now, somebody's talking to these girls. Guarantee it. They're paying them off. And that's one of the reasons they're there. They know that. I'm going to come forward. It may not even be true, but hey, I got 4 other girls over here that said he sexually assaulted them. I'm going to say they sexually assaulted me, and I'm going to cash a check. Did it happen? I don't know. Do you have any proof? No, because we're supposed to believe women no matter what. Remember the Kavanaugh issue. So we have to believe these people. We have to believe these women. They were, in fact, sexually assaulted by Eric Swalwell. And I in some cases, I don't doubt that. I'm not saying they did. It just amazes me that they didn't come forward earlier. That's my only issue with it. Should they be compensated? I think so. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Should he be in jail? Absolutely, he should be in jail. Will he be? Not a chance. Not a chance. So anyway, good talking to you. It was nice. Sitting around the kitchen table here having a nice little chat. So until next time, you have a great day. And believe me, I have so much trouble doing this. I need a producer is what I need. I need somebody saying, hey, tell them to subscribe and like the video and click the little bell. And I cannot remember to do that. So I'm going to have to get better at that. I'll have to start it off with that. But anyway, if you would, please subscribe, please like the video, and then get your alert when I post something new. Because honestly, guys, I had no idea until I got into this. Likes and subscriptions, they're currency in YouTube. That's all it is. It helps you get out into the stream. It's all it is. So anyway, until next time, you guys have a good one. Peace out.
A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.